I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. And how are we doing out there? All across this great republic of ours. And around the world, it's that time once again for the Conservative Syndicate. We're glad to have you with us today. Last day of the week here, and just going to be a little bit different type of show for you today. Joe Hakos, my co-host, is out today. Had some stuff he had to take care of at work. You know, Joe is one of those who actually works for a living out there, and he fits his show and his time on this show and the effort he makes for it in his spare time. And but every now and then, work conflicts, and got to take care of the family, got to pay the bills. So he's out doing that today. I'll be with you today. In fact, today is just you and me. Bob Cardoso, who normally contributes to our show on Friday, is also out of town. So we're going to be just you and I today, and we're going to be talking about CPAC a little bit. You know, I'm not a big fan of CPAC, and we're going to be talking about that next week as to why. There's a lot of things going on in the Republican Party that none of us like as conservatives. There's even more going on in the Conservative Party that a lot of us don't like as conservatives. And it's something that we really need to pay attention to, something we really need to address, because the conservative movement in this day and age, if it's going to move in the direction of conservatism, people have to actually know what it is they're doing, why they're doing it, how to explain it, how to articulate it. And of course, if you can't do any of that, how are you going to make your side of the argument heard and be persuasive and make people take the time to want to know what it is you know and follow you? And that's been a big problem here. I think the biggest problem that the Republican Party has brought upon America, aside from their collusion with the left, is the fact that they have virtually redefined what conservatism is. You know, if you look at the Republican Party platform, you know that exhibits all the traits and characteristics of conservative ideology. But if you look at their actions, their voting records, when and how they vote, and especially when they vote conservative, you'll find that there is a stark contrast in actions compared to words. And so what they've done, the Republicans are probably more responsible, in my opinion, for the loss of the conservative message in America than the Democrats. Because the Democrats know what they want, and they know how to articulate, and they know how to persuade. Now you can criticize them, you can hate them, you can dislike them, you can be totally against what they believe in, but they know how to do what they do, and they do it very well. Otherwise, how would we have somebody like Barack Obama in the White House? Not because he's black or half white, but because this man exemplifies everything that undermines what the American experience is. He has undermined American exceptionalism. He has redefined what Americanism is. because he's good at what he does. And the people that trained him are good at what they do. And the people that Obama has influenced, they are becoming very good at what they do. We on the Republican side and the conservative side, I have to differentiate between that these days. We on the conservative side have been too busy taking care of business, taking care of our families, working our jobs, building our careers, getting our kids in school, paying little attention to what they're learning in school, but forking out the bucks to send them. And we have been rather ambivalent about all these things because we just had some kind of a blind trust that the people we are electing to office would do what we elected them to do, because after all, that's what a republic is based on. The people decide what they want, they elect people to represent them, and those people go and represent them the way that they've been elected to represent them. But that's not what has been happening over the last 5 to 6 decades. And we have been, in our complicity and negligence, have created a vacuum that people like Barack Obama and the likes of him have been able to fill very aptly and very quickly, and have done a very good job of advancing their programs over ours and their ideology over ours and their theology over ours, if you want to call it that. They've done a very good job of destroying this country, or as Barack Obama has said, fundamentally transforming the United States of America. So when we come back to the topic of CPAC, I have some real issues. I have some real issues of what CPAC represents. We'll talk about that a little more next week, probably a lot more next week, because that is the brunt end of our problem on our side of the aisle. It's not Donald Trump. It's the inability of conservatives to articulate conservative principles and do it in such a way that it silences the opposition, because that's what they've done with us. They articulate their principles and their beliefs, and they do it loudly, and they do it continuously, and they are undeterred by opposition, and they are very effective at doing that. And they have, to a great degree, silenced many on our side of the political asylum. So, having said that, though, Donald Trump was at CPAC today. And what we're going to do something I've never done in this show before, and I hope I can pull it off. What we're going to do is we're going to replay Donald Trump's speech at CPAC today, and I'll offer my commentary in between the breaks. And we'll see if we can kind of get a little bit of grip here as to what's going on. Maybe learn a little bit how to articulate, because I don't find Donald Trump the most articulate person. He's not an elaborate speaker, but he does speak the language of most of us, and he speaks to us in that language. And now what we have to do is be able to take that and I guess what's the word I'm thinking of? Expand upon it, or to transfer it out into the public arena, so that others too will begin to understand that this isn't some kind of guy that's just coming in here just to rock the boat for the sake of rocking the boat for his own personal gain, as was the case with Barack Obama and would have been the case of Hillary Clinton had she been elected, and some of the past presidents we've had in the last 4 or 5 decades. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to give it a shot and see if we can pull that off today for you, and we'll go from there. We'll be back on Monday. Joe should be back on Monday with us, and we've got some people coming in next week that we're going to be talking strictly and a lot, exclusively in a lot of ways, about conservative ideology and what it is and what it isn't, and how to articulate what we claim to believe in over what the left does and what the left says. And we got to quit letting them paint us into a corner and commanding the argument from on their terms and conditions. We've got to be able to set that. That's the one thing Donald Trump has done. He is setting his terms. We saw that today with the barring of certain media outlets from the press briefing. And we'll talk about maybe during the course of the show today if we had time for that. So we're going to go. We're going to get our first break out of the way here. We get back, we'll begin, we'll talk about, we're going to replay Donald Trump's speech at CPAC today. So hang on to your hats, guys, and enjoy the afternoon. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We're not arguing, we're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, and as I mentioned earlier, Joe Hakos, my co-host, partner in crime, is off today, taking care of some stuff at work that he has to do. And I thought, since we're going to be flying solo today, I thought what we'd do is something a little bit different, something I've never done on this show. I don't remember ever doing it or doing it in this way, and that is to replay an actual speech or an actual event and offer commentary, blow-by-blow commentary, if we want to call it that kind of thing. And I thought we would do that today. So I think without any further ado, let's get into this. This is Donald Trump today, February 24th, 2017 at CPAC. And we're just going to let the thing play. And at our break times, we'll do our break. We'll come back, offer some commentary, and then we'll continue with this speech. Donald Trump at CPAC.
Thank you, everybody. So great to be with you. Thank you. Great to be back at CPAC. It's a place I have really... I love this place. Love you people. So thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Matt Schlapp and his very, very incredible wife and boss, Mercedes, who have been fantastic friends and supporters, and so great when I watch them on television defending me. Nobody has a chance. So I want to thank Matt and Mercedes. And when Matt called and asked, I said, absolutely, I'll be there with you. I mean, the real reason I said it, I didn't want him to go against me, because that one you can't beat. So I said absolutely, and it really is an honor to be here. I wouldn't miss a chance to talk to my friends. These are my friends. And we'll see you again next year and the year after that. And I'll be doing this with CPAC whenever I can, and I'll make sure that we're here a lot. You know, if you remember my first major speech, sit down, everybody, come on. You know, the dishonest media, they'll say, he didn't get a standing ovation. You know why? No, you know why? Because everybody stood and nobody sat. So they will say, he never got a standing ovation. Right? That's the way they are. They are the worst. So, sit down. Donald Trump did not get a standing ovation. They leave out the part, they never sat down. They leave that out. So I just want to thank. But you know, my first major speech was at CPAC, and probably 5 or 6 years ago. First major political speech. And you were there. And I loved it. I loved the people. I loved the commotion. And then they did these polls where I went through the roof and I wasn't even running, right? But it gave me an idea. And I got a little bit concerned when I saw what was happening in the country. And I said, let's go to it. So it was very exciting. I walked the stage on CPAC. I'll never forget it, really. I had very little notes and even less preparation. So when you had practically no notes and no preparation, and then you leave and everybody was thrilled, I said, I think I like this business. I would have come last year, but I was worried that I would be, at that time, too controversial. We wanted border security. We wanted very, very strong military. We wanted all of the things that we're going to get. And people considered that controversial, but you didn't consider it controversial. So I've been with CPAC for a long time. All of these years we've been together, and now you finally have a president. Finally. Took you a long time. Took you a long time. And it's patriots like you that made it happen, believe me. Believe me. You did it because you love your country, because you want a better future for your children, and because you want to make America great again. The media didn't think we would win. The pundits, you're right, they had an idea. The pundits didn't think we'd win. The consultants that suck up all that money, oh, they suck it up. They're so good. They're not good at politics, but they're really good at sucking up people's money. Especially my opponents, because I kept them down to a minimum. But the consultants didn't think we would win. But they all underestimated the power of the people, you. And the people proved them totally wrong. And this is so true. And this is what's been happening. Never underestimate the people. Never. I don't think it'll ever happen again. And I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people. And they are. They are the enemy of the people. Because they have no sources. They just make them up when there are none. I saw one story recently where they said 9 people have confirmed. There are no 9 people. I don't believe there was 1 or 2 people. 9 people. And I said, give me a break, because I know the people. I know who they talk to. There were no 9 people, but they say 9 people. And somebody reads it and they think, oh, 9 people, they have 9 sources. They make up sources. They're very dishonest people. In fact, in covering my comments, the dishonest media did not explain that I called the fake news the enemy of the people, the fake news. They dropped off the word fake. And all of a sudden, the story became the media is the enemy. They take the word fake out. And now I'm saying, oh, no, this is no good. But that's the way they are. So I'm not against the media. I'm not against the press. I don't mind bad stories if I deserve them. And I tell you, I love good stories, but we won't talk. I don't get too many of them. But I am only against the fake news media or press. Fake. They have to lead that word. I'm against the people that make up stories and make up sources. They shouldn't be allowed to use sources unless they use somebody's name. Let their name be put out there. Let their name be put out. A source says that Donald Trump is a horrible, horrible human being. Let him say it to my face. Let there be no more sources. And remember this, and not all in all cases. I mean, I had a story written yesterday about me in Reuters by a very honorable man. It was a very fair story. There are some great reporters around. They're talented, they're honest as the day is long. They're great. But there are some terrible, dishonest people. And they do a tremendous disservice to our country and to our people. A tremendous disservice. They are very dishonest people, and they shouldn't use sources. They should put the name of the person. You will see stories dry up like you've never seen before. So you have no idea how bad it is, because if you are not part of the story, and I put myself in your position sometimes, because many of you, you're not part of the story. And if you're not part of the story, you know, then you sort of know. If you are part of the story, you know what they're saying is true or not. So when they make it up, and they make up something else, and you saw that before the election, polls. The polls. They come out with these polls, and everybody was so surprised. Actually, a couple of polls got it right. I must say, Los Angeles Times did a great job. Shocking, because, you know, they did a great job. And we had a couple of others that were right. But generally speaking, I mean, I can tell you the network. Somebody said, a poll came out. And I say, what network is it? And they'll say a certain, let's not even mention names, right? Sure. Well, you have a lot of them. Look, the Clinton News Network is one. Totally. Take a look. Honestly. Take a look at their polls over the last 2 years. Now, you'd think they'd fire the pollster, right? After years and years of getting battered. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just bad at polling. Or maybe they're not legit. But it's one or the other. Look at how inaccurate. Look at CBS. Look at ABC also. Look at NBC. Take a look at some of these polls. They're so bad, so inaccurate. And what that does is it creates a false narrative. It creates like this narrative that's just like, we're not going to win. And people say, oh, I love Trump, but I'm not feeling great today. He can't win, so I won't go and vote. I won't go and vote. It creates a whole false deal. And we have to fight it, folks. We have to fight it. They're very smart, they're very cunning, and they're very dishonest. So just to conclude, I mean, it's a very sensitive topic, and they get upset when we expose their false stories. They say that we can't criticize their dishonest coverage because of the First Amendment. They always bring up the First Amendment. And I love the First Amendment. Nobody loves it better than me. Nobody. I mean, who uses it more than I do? But the First Amendment gives all of us, it gives it to me, it gives it to you, it gives it to all Americans, the right to speak our minds freely. It gives you the right and me the right to criticize fake news and criticize it strongly. And many of these groups are part of the large media corporations that have their own agenda, and it's not your agenda, and it's not the country's agenda. It's their own agenda. They have a professional obligation as members of the press to report honestly. But as you saw throughout the entire campaign, and even now, the fake news doesn't tell the truth. Doesn't tell the truth. So just in finishing, I say it doesn't represent the people. It never will represent the people. And we're going to do something about it because we have to go out and we have to speak our minds and we have to be honest. Our victory was a win like nobody has ever seen before. And I'm here fighting for you, and I will continue to fight for you. The victory and the win was something that really was dedicated to a country and people that believe in freedom, security, and the rule of law. Our victory was a victory and a win for conservative values. And our victory was a win for everyone who believes it's time to stand up for America, to stand up for the American worker, and to stand up for the American flag. Yeah, there we should stand up. Come on. There we should stand up. Okay. And by the way, we love our flag. And by the way, you folks are in here. The place is packed. There are lines that go back 6 blocks. And I tell you that because you won't read about it, okay? But there are lines that go back 6 blocks. There is such love in this country for everything we stand for. You saw that on Election Day. And you're going to see it more and more. So we're all part of this very historic movement, a movement the likes of which, actually, the world has never seen before. There's never been anything like this. There's been some movements, but there's never been anything like this. There's been some movements that petered out, like Bernie, petered out.
Okay, hey, we're listening to Donald Trump's CPAC speech that took place earlier today, and it's time for our break right now. When we get back, I'll have a few comments on what we've heard so far of Donald Trump speaking at CPAC today. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We got a lot for you today.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland. Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, Real Conservative Talk from Real Conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, who's off today. Had some functions at work he had to take care of, and you got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills. That's what it's all about. And so I'm flying solo with you today. Bob Cardoso is also out of town, so he will not be with us today, but that's okay. It gives me an opportunity to do something I've never done before in this show. Replay an entire speech and offer live commentary at moments when it is appropriate. In this case, after the breaks, we're playing Donald Trump's CPAC speech right now that took place earlier today, and then offering commentary. Now, getting to what he was talking about, where we've covered the speech so far, and as you were listening, he spent a good deal of time here in the beginning addressing the ongoing controversy with the media. And the media is no friend to Donald Trump for sure. The media is no friend to the American people for sure, because for decades now, the media has done everything they can to undermine anybody that they don't like, and usually at the bequest and under the guidelines of the opposition party of whoever it is they don't like. Richard Nixon was very hated by the media. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that the media should like everybody, and I'm not saying that the media should agree with everything, but the media's place has always supposed to be, well, it's been for the longest of time, was supposed to be more of a public service. And yes, they have the First Amendment, and that's something that Trump actually addressed, and I think this is something that American people need to be reminded of, is that the First Amendment is freedom of speech, not freedom of the press. And that's how it's being interpreted by the media. The comments that Donald Trump has made about the media is that they should be accountable for what they say in the same way that we should be accountable for what we say. We all have the right to speak. We all have the right to say what we believe. However, if we were out there in a public square, making charges against somebody in a public square, and we had a large audience, and we're just making charges against people and saying, well, where did you hear that? Well, so-and-so told me. Well, who's so-and-so? Well, I can't tell you who so-and-so is, but I have a source. Somebody told me, my gardener's friend, who's related to somebody who works as a maid for this particular person, told me in a conversation that this is what is actually happening, or this is what occurred, or this is what this person thinks. And you say, well, who is that person? And you say, well, I'm not going to tell you that. I promised them I wouldn't tell you who they were. And there are laws about this. It's called libel, slander. So it's not, Trump makes it very clear here. He says, I'm not against the media. I'm not against the press. I don't mind bad stories if I deserve them. I love good stories, but we won't go there. He says, okay, I don't get too many of them. But I'm only against the fake news, the media or press. Fake. They have to leave that word, meaning that they usually know what the media has done, has taken his statements once again out of context, and say basically that Donald Trump doesn't believe in a free press. Okay, now that, again, even that word, that is how the press, he doesn't believe in a free press. I mean, Chris Wallace said it sorry, excuse me here, I got tongue-tied there. Chris Wallace said it best last week. We covered it. You can't tell us, this is what he told Reince Priebus, you can't tell us what to do. And that's what they mean by free press. We're free to do whatever we want. Well, you're not free to do whatever you want if what you're doing falls under the labels of libel, slander, lies, deceit, because if anybody else was to do that, they would be called on it. If you lied about somebody and that person that you lied about knew you lied about them, they have the right to come out and say, hey, you lied about me. If you think this is true, produce the evidence. Give me the proof. Otherwise, you need to keep your mouth shut. Well, the free press doesn't think that they have that same accountability, that they have that same responsibility. And if you think I'm wrong, here's just a quick couple of examples here. Let me give you a couple of examples. It's just something that I just saw today, and it reminded me of something else that took place years ago. It's apparently on Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough. Micah Brzezinski, who is, I guess, the co-host with Joe Scarborough. I don't know. I've never watched the show. When I read about it, I assume that they're a pair on the show, a host and co-host, or, maybe they're both. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, she was commenting, this Micah Brzezinski was commenting on Wednesday morning that she was upset to see Donald Trump has moved into, as she referred to it, the media's turf when it comes to area of mind control. She said, and I'm reading from the quote here, he is trying to undermine the media and trying to make up his own facts. And see, that's what Trump is accusing the media of. You're lying. You're trying to undermine the country, the democracy, the Democrats, whoever. You're trying to undermine everybody. And by doing it, by making up your own facts. She goes on to say, and it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job, she noted, referring to the media. She tried to back off of it later and said she wasn't saying it was the media's job to make us think, but it was the media's job to make sure that President Trump didn't make up his own facts. Well, Donald Trump isn't making up his own facts. The only thing, if you really listen to Trump, what Trump does most of the time when he speaks to the public is he's always in defense mode. So he's responding to a great degree, not all entirely, but to a great degree, he is responding to something that has been said about him. He doesn't go out of his way to pick a fight. 9 times out of 10, he's out there defending something that he's been accused of, or some accusation, some allegations, innuendo, implications, speculation, and he responds to that. But she thinks that it's the media's job to determine or make us decide what we think. That's our job, she said. It's our job to control what people actually think. Well, that has always been the leftist skew on things. That's the way they look at things. If you don't think that's enough, well, how about this? How about, let's see, let me get the exact date here. March 3rd, 2011, the news station Al Jazeera had just come into the American eye. All right, this is a Middle East type news network, one that a lot of the terrorist outlets use to spew their propaganda. And this is back in March 3rd, 2011, and Hillary was speaking to the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee. And she said, and she singled out Al Jazeera TV News Network for its work covering recent uprisings throughout the Middle East. They were talking about the Middle East. She said, you've got a set of global networks that Al Jazeera has been the leader in that are literally changing people's minds and attitudes. This is what she said. She said, viewership of Al Jazeera is going up in the United States because it's real news. People that are propagating, people that are what's the word? Carrying the banner for terrorist news outlets, terrorist organizations, are changing people's minds and attitudes. And she says it's real news. She goes on to say, you may not agree with it, but you feel like you're getting real news around the clock instead of a million commercials and, arguments between talking heads and the kind of stuff that we do in our news, which is not particularly informative to us, let alone foreigners. But what she is alluding to here is what? These news networks, Al Jazeera and those others, I guess, associated with it over in the Middle East, were changing minds and attitudes. And that is the job of the media, in her opinion. That's what she's alluding to. I understand her argument against commercials and talking heads and all the other stuff. And when she refers to talking heads, she's, of course, talking to conservative talk radio. That's what she's talking about, because God knows MSNBC and CNN and ABC and CBS and NBC and all the rest of them, they're not talking heads. They're political pundits. But we're talking heads on our side, right? But what she's saying is, that is the function of the media. The media's function is to change people's minds and attitudes. Now, you take that with Brzezinski here, who, by the way, is a liberal, and she says it's the media's job to control exactly what people think. And this is what has upset them because Donald Trump has rocked the boat. Most Americans know the media is a bunch of crap. They know it's lies. They know it's propaganda. But to have somebody in a position of authority and influence to come out into the public square and say, you guys all know what I know, so let's all say it together. The media is crooked and corrupt. It's in collusion with globalists, those who would take away our freedom and bring us into the collective society of globalism. That's what Donald Trump is alluding to here. They are not our friends because they want to take us, convince us one way or the other, either through ostracization when you disagree with them, or just through propaganda till you come to the point where you give up and surrender and go along with what they say. And that's what Donald Trump has exposed. And that's what he's talking about when he's alluding to the idea of fake news. So he's saying if you don't have a source, you shouldn't be able to say anything. You shouldn't be able to report. It's one thing, I know media people need their anonymous sources. But when you come out and start making accusations like has been leveled against Donald Trump in collusion with the Russians, and that's how he won the election, you need to name some names because you're talking about something that is, in the minds of many people, traumatic. I myself don't think it's a big deal. If the Russians happen to influence Americans to vote for Donald Trump, well, then that just means the Democrats did a really crappy job on their side. That they didn't have anybody that could carry the same influence. All right? So the idea of using the First Amendment, as I refer to them, they use the First Amendment to constitutional terrorists. They use the First Amendment to cover up their lack of responsibility and accountability, and they get mad when somebody calls them on it. So when we get back, we'll continue with Donald Trump's speech at CPAC, and we'll continue our commentary. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, we are back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, who's off today. We are listening to a replay of Donald Trump's speech at CPAC today, and I want to get back into that. But before I do that, let me just kind of remind people, if you're listening to us right now on Red State Talk Radio, you probably will not hear our portion of our show for the first 5 minutes of the next hour. Because Red State has an obligation to do their commercials for their sponsors. We do these sponsors at the bottom of the hour, but so if you kind of get a little bit discombobulated, if there's like a 37-second gap or something, after the first 5 minutes of the next hour. Just hang tight, and we'll be back on the air, and you'll be able to hear the rest of our show. But we have an obligation to our sponsors to play their advertisements. That's what it's all about here. The rest of you listening to us out there in SHR Media, Spreaker, whether it be our account or any of the other accounts that we're tied to, Patriot News Network, and let's see who else is out there that we're doing live right now. The list is long. Anyway, you'll hear the show in its entirety. So I just wanted to give a special heads up to the people listening to us out there at Red State. So let's get back to Donald Trump at CPAC earlier today, and we'll continue with his speech.
But it was a little rigged against him, superdelegate. She had so many delegates before the thing even started. I actually said to my people, how does that happen? Not that I'm a fan of Bernie, but a lot of Bernie people voted for Trump. You know why? Because he's right on one issue, trade. He was right about trade. Our country is being absolutely devastated with bad trade deals. So he was right about that. But we got a lot of Bernie support. So actually, I like Bernie. Okay? I like Bernie. But I'm here today to tell you what this movement means for the future of the Republican Party and for the future of America. First, we need to define what this great, unprecedented movement is and what it actually represents. The core conviction of our movement is that we are a nation that put and will put its own citizens first. For too long, we've traded away our jobs to other countries. So terrible. We've defended other nations' borders while leaving ours wide open. Anybody can come in. Oh, we're going to build the wall. Don't worry about it. We're building the wall. We're building the wall. In fact, it's going to start soon. Way ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. It's way ahead of schedule. It's going to start very soon. General Kelly, by the way, has done a fantastic job. Fantastic job he's done. And remember, we are getting the bad ones out. These are bad dudes. We're getting the bad ones out. Okay? We're getting the bad. If you watch these people, it's like, oh, gee, that's so sad. We're getting bad people out of this country. People that shouldn't be, whether it's drugs or murder or other things. We're getting bad ones out. Those are the ones they go first. And I said it from day one. Basically, all I've done is keep my promise. We've spent trillions of dollars overseas while allowing our own infrastructure to fall into total disrepair and decay. In the Middle East, we've spent, as of 4 weeks ago, $6 trillion. Think of it. And by the way, the Middle East is in it's not even close. It's in much worse shape than it was 15 years ago. If our presidents would have gone to the beach for 15 years, we would be in much better shape than we are right now. That I can tell you. Be a hell of a lot better. We could have rebuilt our country 3 times with that money. This is the situation that I inherited. I inherited a mess, believe me. We also inherited a failed health care law that threatens our medical system with absolute and total catastrophe. Now, I've been watching, and nobody says it, but Obamacare doesn't work, folks. I could say, I could talk. It doesn't work. And now people are starting to develop a little warm heart. But the people that you're watching, they're not you. They're largely, many of them are the side that lost. You know, they lost the election. It's like, how many elections do we have to have? They lost the election. But I always say, Obamacare doesn't work. And these same people 2 years ago and a year ago were complaining about Obamacare. And the bottom line, we're changing it. We're going to make it much better. We're going to make it less expensive. We're going to make it much better. Obamacare covers very few people. And remember, deduct from the number all of the people that had great health care that they loved that was taken away from them. Was taken away from them. Millions of people were very happy with their health care. They had their doctor. They had their plan. Remember the lie? 28 times. You can keep your doctor. You can keep your plan. Over and over and over again, you heard it. So, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. And I tell Paul Ryan and all of the folks that we're working with very hard, Dr. Tom Price, very talented guy. But I tell them, from a purely political standpoint, the single best thing we can do is nothing. Let it implode completely. It's already imploding. You see the carriers are all leaving. I mean, it's a disaster. But 2 years don't do anything. The Democrats will come to us and beg for help. They'll beg, and it's their problem. But it's not the right thing to do for the American people. It's not the right thing to do. We inherited a national debt that has doubled in 8 years. Think of it, $20 trillion. It's doubled. And we inherited a foreign policy marked by one disaster after another. We don't win anymore. When was the last time we won? Do we win a war? Do we win anything? Do we win anything? We're going to win. We're going to win big, folks. We're going to start winning again. Believe me. We're going to win.
Okay, we're listening to Donald Trump's CPAC speech given earlier today. Very interesting points made during the course of that last little clip that we played here. And we'll get to more of it, but we're coming up on the top of our hour here. And we got the Edwards Notebook coming up, and then we'll pay some bills. And just once again, quick note to those of you listening out there on Red State Talk Radio, there may be a 20 to 30 second dead air spot as we reconnect. As Red State has to play their sponsors, we have to play ours. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back.
The never-ending campaign against President Trump. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. The election of Donald Trump for President of the United States represents the desire of many Americans to see our republic rescued from utter oblivion. Of course, we the people who desire America to be great again are not so naive to think that Trump alone can improve the fortunes of the United States. However, we do know that the president is the commander-in-chief who has certain powers and responsibilities which are enumerated in the U.S. Constitution. The president is supposed to do all he can to protect the United States of America. Also, the last time I checked, when it comes to the issue of defending our country, it would not hurt if Congress and the judicial branch would agree. But unfortunately, we live at a time when a large segment of government and society are positioned to expend all of their energies to stop the administration of Donald J. Trump. Of course, on the surface, it seems like it's a political battle, but also it is spiritual in nature. You see, you have the progressive Democrats at war against Christian influences that are a major part of the foundation of what has been great about our republic. I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on
You can
catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, weighing against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. All right, hey, we're back. Hour 2 right here at the Conservative Syndicate, and we're glad you took the time to join us today. Special show going on today. We're doing something really, really special today. Something I've never done before, and so far, so good. So far, I'm enjoying it. We're actually replaying an entire speech and then offering commentary in between the breaks after we take our commercial breaks, fulfill our obligations to our sponsors, and then offering you some commentary on what we saw. Now, in the first hour there, what we were talking about, or what Donald Trump was talking about, he was continuing his discussion on Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, the election was rigged. We know that now. The only thing that hasn't happened is that there's been no retribution to those involved, including Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, her campaign, one of her campaign people, the collusion with people like Donna Brazile, who worked over at CNN. I mean, there's a lot of people that were involved in this to make sure that Bernie Sanders did not make it to the top of the heap here. But he goes on to talk about it. But then he goes on to kind of give a short list of things that he says he's going to do, keeping his promises, as he refers to it. And he does it by pointing out the problems and what has led to the situations that we had, the very things that have actually brought about his election, defending other nations while leaving our own borders open so that anybody can come in. Immigration has been redefined as allowing anybody that wants to come in for whatever reason to come in. You know, it could be refugee situation, it could be economical, it could be any number of things. But, you know, they want to come to America, and that's what America's all about. That's American values. One of the things I mentioned earlier, Obama was able to redefine American values. The left has been able to redefine in a very definitive way what it means to be an American. American exceptionalism is a sin, and Americanism means just letting anybody do what they want, being friends to everybody, and just, you know, turning a blind eye to any threat that anything can happen in the name of compassion and humanity. He went to talking about the amount of money, trillions of dollars spending in foreign policy while our own infrastructure is falling apart. We out here in California know that firsthand. If you have been paying attention the last few weeks, massive rains, dams busting, overspills that have been sitting idle for 48 to 50 years. Nobody's ever tested them. They say, oh, yeah, we checked them. We inspect them vigorously, but they all collapsed when all of a sudden we got this massive deluge of water, and we're still suffering from that. Floods up in San Jose, people displaced, people having to evacuate 200,000 homes up around the Sacramento area. Mudslides, all these things are happening because our infrastructure is bad. Well, and all the bonds that they've put in effect out here for the purpose of building infrastructure, that money went someplace else, most notably union pensions and teachers' pensions to shore up those public, or not public, public and private sector, but the unions and the people that put money in the war chest, the people like Governor Jerry Moonbeam Brown and now Kamala Harris and Dianne Feinstein and all the rest of them. He goes on, Trump went on to talk about the failed health care law. The repeal and replace. I'm not into replacing. I say repeal it, put it back in the hands of private sector, and leave it alone. Get the hell out. Yeah, if you want to get federally involved in it, yeah, let's remove the borders. Let's allow international competition on pharmaceuticals. That will drive the cost down. That will create the competition everybody's always saying we need to keep the cost down. Let's see what else we got here. And, there's one thing he mentioned. Well, I'm not going to get into it right now because we're going to go to break. I want to stay on schedule today. Maybe I'll mention it after this next segment. But we're going to take our break here because this is our short segment. And then we'll get back into Donald Trump's CPAC speech. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, doing something really special on this fine Friday afternoon out here in Southern California. Boy, it's chilly out here, but boy, sure glad to see the sun again. We haven't seen it out here for quite a while. Of course, I understand we got some weather coming our way again this weekend, and that plays into what I was just talking about before the break here. Donald Trump, explaining to his followers and supporters and anybody else that will listen that we've been spending a lot of money on foreign policy and our own infrastructure. Remember all this Reinvestment Redevelopment Act that Obama talked about? Remember how Obama was always talking about we need more money because we need to build infrastructure, and very little of that has actually happened. I know out here in California, most of the money has been spent on rebuilding freeways and carpools. Okay, carpool free lanes that nobody uses or very few people use, and they might add a lane for a couple of miles, but then it just bottlenecks at a different point. They just moved the bottleneck to a different place, created carpool lanes, and then after they build the carpool lanes, of course they want to charge tolls for that. Okay, so that's been the big infrastructure out here in California. I don't know what it's been like in the rest of the country, but very little has been done out here. As I said, we got dams falling apart out here, and everybody thought because California's had a drought, well, no need, no worry, out of sight, out of mind, and look where we're at now. And all the things that are going on. But our streets got potholes in them every time we have a rain like we just had. You go down our street now that they just paved maybe 6 months ago, big old potholes in the middle of the street now because with that much rain, the asphalt pops up out of there with the number of trucks, a lot of trucks out here in California. So anyway, so that's what Donald, but he says something here about Obamacare. I want to just comment on this before we get back in to his CPAC speech here. He says towards the end of the clip that we played last hour that from a purely political standpoint, the single best thing to do about Obamacare is to do nothing, to let it implode completely because it's already imploding. We know that. We know that he says, you see the carriers are all leaving. It's a disaster, but 2 years, don't do anything. Just let it sit as the cesspool that it is and let it continue to implode. The problem is, as he said, the Democrats will come beg us for help in 2 years. But it's not the right thing to do for the American people. Yeah, don't let the American people suffer any more than they've already suffered. And let's do something to get those of us who had medical plans that we liked and doctors that we liked, give that back to us. I'm all for somehow trying to help other people, but I don't think it should be the government doing it. This is my problem. This is the kind of thing, give these health industry people incentives to offer health care or to keep their prices down. Give them tax credits or whatever. Let them keep some of their money that they're making. Let them keep more of their money that they're making. But let's do some things that the free market demands, like open up borders and let people sell insurance across lines. Let international companies come in pharmaceuticals and drive down the cost of pharmaceuticals, which is the big bear, the big elephant in the room when it comes to health care. You know, that kind of thing. And then maybe you'll have more people trying to get health care. It'll drive the cost down. More people can get it. And we can do it the way that we always do in America, competition, free enterprise. And that in and of itself will create the market that everybody thinks that the government has to create and then subsidize with our tax dollars. And everybody ends up broke. Everybody ends up with less than what they started out with. And it costs more. And then with the government involved, costs keep escalating, which means services keep dying. That's and that's what Trump is saying. So now let's get back here. Now he's getting back to the conversation about how he's going to turn things around. This is Donald Trump at CPAC earlier today.
But we're taking a firm, bold, and decisive measure. We have to turn things around. The era of empty talk is over. It's over. Now is the time for action. So let me tell you about the actions that we're taking right now to deliver on our promise to the American people and on my promise to make America great again. We've taken swift and strong action to secure the southern border of the United States and to begin the construction of a great border wall. By doing this, and with the help of our great border police, with the help of ICE, with the help of General Kelly, and all of the people that are so passionate about this, our Border Patrol, I'll tell you what they do. They came and endorsed me. ICE came and endorsed me. They never endorsed a presidential candidate before. They might not even be allowed to. But they were disgusted with what they saw. And we'll stop it. We'll stop the drugs from pouring into our nation and poisoning our youth. Pouring in. We get the drugs, they get the money. We get the problems, they get the cash. No good. Going to stop. By stopping the flow of illegal immigration, we will save countless tax dollars, and that's so important because the dollars that we're losing are beyond anything that you can imagine. And the tax dollars that can be used to rebuild struggling American communities, including our inner cities. We are also going to save countless American lives. As we speak today, immigration officers are finding the gang members, the drug dealers, and the criminal aliens and throwing them the hell out of our country. And we will not let them back in. They're not coming back in, folks. They do, they're going to have bigger problems than they ever dreamt of. I'm also working with the Department of Justice to begin reducing violent crime. I mean, can you believe what's happening in Chicago, as an example? 2 days ago, 7 people were shot. And I believe killed. 7 people. Chicago, a great American city. 7 people shot and killed. We will support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. Thank you. And thank them. I've also followed through on my campaign promise and withdrawn America from the Trans-Pacific Partnership so that we can protect our economic freedom. And we're going to make trade deals, but we're going to do one-on-one. And if they misbehave, we terminate the deal, and then they'll come back and we'll make a better deal. None of these big quagmire deals that are a disaster. Just take a look, by the way, take a look at NAFTA, one of the worst deals ever made by any country having to do with economic development. It's economic undevelopment as far as our country is concerned. We're preparing to repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. We're going to save Americans from this crisis and give them the access to the quality health care they need and deserve. We have authorized the construction, one day, of the Keystone and Dakota Access Pipelines. And issued a new rule. This took place while I was getting ready to sign. I said, who makes the pipes for the pipeline? Well, sir, it comes from all over the world. Isn't that wonderful? I said, nope. Comes from the United States, or we're not building it. American steel. If they want a pipeline in the United States, they're going to use pipe that's made in the United States. Do we agree? But can you imagine, I told the story the other day. Can you imagine the gentleman, never met him, don't even know the name of his company. I actually sort of know it, but I want to get it exactly correct. Big, powerful company. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the pipeline. Same thing with the Dakota, different place. They got their approvals, everything in the case of Dakota, then all of a sudden they couldn't connect it because they had people protesting that never showed up before. But with the Keystone, so they spent hundreds of millions of dollars with bloodsucker consultants, sucking the blood out of the company. Don't worry, I used them all my life, okay? Don't worry, we're going to get it approved. I'm connected. I'm a lobbyist. Don't worry. Bottom line, Obama didn't sign it, right? Could be 42,000 jobs, somewhere around there, a lot of jobs. Didn't sign it. But can you imagine? He gave up. A year ago, it was dead. Now he's doing nothing. Calling his wife, hello, darling, I'm a little bored. That pipeline, that has killed us. That has killed our company. Knock, knock. Mr. So-and-so. The Keystone Pipeline, sir, out of nowhere has just been approved. Now, can you imagine the expression? And the sad part? Those same blood-sucking consultants that hit him for all the money and failed, they're now going to go back to him and say, didn't we do a great job? We want more money, right? Because that's the way the system works. A little bit off, but that's the way the system works. We're preparing bold action to lift the restrictions on American energy, including shale oil, natural gas, and beautiful, clean coal, and we're going to put our miners back to work. Miners are going back to work. Miners are going back to work, folks. Sorry to tell you that, but they're going back to work. We have begun a historic program to reduce the regulations that are crushing our economy, crushing. And not only our economy, crushing our jobs because companies can't hire. We're going to put the regulation industry out of work and out of business. And by the way, I want regulation. I want to protect our environment. I want regulations for safety. I want all of the regulations that we need, and I want them to be so strong and so tough. But we don't need 75% of the repetitive, horrible regulations that hurt companies, hurt jobs, make us non-competitive overseas with other companies from other countries. That we don't need. But we're going to have regulation. It's going to be really strong and really good, and we're going to protect our environment, and we're going to protect the safety of our people and our workers. Okay? Another major promise is tax reform. We are going to massively lower taxes on the middle class, reduce taxes on American business, and make our tax code more simple and much more fair for everyone, including the people and the business. Thank you. In anticipation of these and other changes, jobs are already starting to pour back into our country. You see that. In fact, I think I did more than any other pre-president. They say president-elect. President-elect is meeting with Ford. He's meeting with Chrysler. He's meeting with General Motors. I just want to save a little time. Because Ford and Fiat Chrysler, General Motors, Sprint, Intel, and so many others are now, because of the election result, making major investments in the United States, expanding production, and hiring more workers. And they're going back to Michigan, and they're going back to Ohio, and they're going back to Pennsylvania, and they're going back to North Carolina, and to Florida. It's time for all Americans to get off of welfare and get back to work. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You are going to love it.
Okay, we're listening to Donald Trump at CPAC earlier today. We got to take a break. We'll get back with our comments. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and like them on Facebook and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
Now back to the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right. Hey, we're back. Hey, and a quick word of encouragement here. You want to maybe check out our website over the weekend. You can catch this show. Maybe you're just tuning in midstream here. Or maybe, the things just happened that you may not be able to hear all of the show today. But it's replayed, and when it's replayed several times, it'll show up here back on Red State Talk Radio if you're listening to us there. Red Nation Rising, you'll hear us there. Some of the other networks, let's see, High Plains Talk Radio, you can catch it there. SHR Media, they have our archives, our podcasts there. You can go to 405 Media. They normally post our podcasts. And, of course, you can go to our own website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and pick up all of our archives, this show, any of our shows, find out anything you want to know about the show, the people that are involved in it, why we do what we do the way we do it, theconservativesyndicate.net. Now, we're listening to Donald Trump's CPAC speech earlier today. Some quick comments here before we get back to it. In our last segment, Donald Trump was talking about he had listed before the problems and what has been happening, the money that's being spent, the infrastructure falling, the failure of our foreign policy, the immigration problems that we have that are putting a strain on our economy, all these things. And then he turns around and he says, these are the things we're doing. These are the things we're going to do, and these are the things that we've already started to do. And he begins by talking about the wall again, building security to a wall down on our southern border. Tax reform, a big deal. Boy, wouldn't it be great to just have a really simplified tax form, or maybe even have it done through payroll taxes, or maybe a national sales tax. I would be okay with that, because then at least those who are here illegally would be paying something instead of just taking from the system. They'd be putting back into it. Of course, those that are on welfare don't have to pay taxes because they use paper, not currency. But, it's a move in the right direction. Simplified tax codes, reducing the economic strain on businesses so that they want to bring their businesses back into the country and put people back to work. What a concept. Make it easy to make money. Wow, make it easy to acquire personal property. One of the very foundations on which our republic was established. How about that? So he starts to go down a list of pulling out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is would have hurt us even worse than NAFTA has in terms of all the leverage that other countries would have against us, and tariffs and the subsequent subsidies going to employees that have lost money because the amount of money they get paid for doing services or doing what they do over here would have to be less to be able to meet the requirements of the partnership and all that other crap. Let's see. I like the idea of making trade deals one-on-one. I think that's one of the things I'm really impressed with. Yeah, we make a deal with the Philippines, or we make a deal with Japan, or we make a deal with China and say, okay, this is our deal with you, and if you renege on it, well, then we just pull the plug, and then next time around, we get even more in our favor if you want to come back and rework the deal. The pipeline. I think the thing that really impressed me about this was using American steel, American pipes. I hadn't even thought about the fact that pipes would be coming from all over the place. But to say, hey, look, if you're going to build it on turf, it would make sense, wouldn't it? If you're another country like Canada and you want to come in and build a pipeline, wouldn't it make sense to buy steel at the place you're working than to have it shipped in from everywhere else? I used to work in a warehouse. I understand inventory control and stuff like that. If you can buy it at home, it's cheaper than buying it someplace else and having to ship it. And then if the stuff is crap, the amount of time and energy and money that's spent to ship the stuff back and get it replaced and crediting payables and receivables, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense to me. And then getting back into the production of shale oil, natural gas, and coal. I like the way, we're going to put coal miners back to work. And we're going to put the regulation industry out of business, rather than Hillary Clinton saying, we're going to put the coal industry out of business, or Barack Obama even years ago saying the same thing. So the tax reform bill and all these other things. So here we are. Now he's getting ready to tell us about what he's going to do with the military. So let's get back to Donald Trump at CPAC right here on the Conservative Syndicate.
We're also putting in a massive budget request for our beloved military. And we will be substantially upgrading all of our military, offensive, defensive, everything, bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and hopefully we'll never have to use it, but nobody's going to mess with us, folks. Nobody. It will be one of the greatest military buildups in American history. No one will dare question, as they have been, because we're very depleted, very, very depleted. Sequester. Nobody will dare question our military might again. We believe in peace through strength, and that's what we will have. As part of my pledge to restore safety for the American people, I have also directed the defense community to develop a plan to totally obliterate ISIS. Working with our allies, we will eradicate this evil from the face of the earth. At the same time, we fully understand that national security begins with border security. Foreign terrorists will not be able to strike America if they cannot get into our country. And by the way, take a look at what's happening in Europe, folks. Take a look at what's happening in Europe. I took a lot of heat on Sweden. And then a day later, I said, has anybody reported what's going on? And it turned out that they didn't, not too many of them did. Take a look at what happened in Sweden. I love Sweden. Great country, great people. I love Sweden. But they understand I'm right. The people over there understand I'm right. Take a look at what's happening in Sweden. Take a look at what's happening in Germany. Take a look at what's happened in France. Take a look at Nice and Paris. I have a friend. He's a very, very substantial guy. He loves the City of Lights. He loves Paris. For years, every year during the summer, he would go to Paris. It was automatic with his wife and his family. I hadn't seen him in a while. And I said, Jim, let me ask you a question. How's Paris doing? Paris? I don't go there anymore. Paris is no longer Paris. That was 4 or 5 years has he gone there. He wouldn't miss it for anything. Now he doesn't even think in terms of going there. Take a look at what's happening to our world, folks. And we have to be smart. We have to be smart. We can't let it happen to us. So let me state this as clearly as I can. We are going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We will not be deterred from this course. And in a matter of days, we will be taking brand new action to protect our people and keep America safe. You will see the action. I will never, ever apologize for protecting the safety and security of the American people. I won't do it. If it means I get bad press, if it means people speak badly of me, it's okay. Doesn't bother me. The security of our people is number one. Our administration is running with great efficiency, even though I still don't have my cabinet approved. Nobody mentions that. Do you know I still have people out there waiting to be approved? And everyone knows they're going to be approved. It's just a delay. It's really sad. It's really sad. And these are great people. These are some great people. We still don't have our cabinet. I assume we're setting records for that. That's the only thing good about it, is we're setting records. I love setting records. But I hate having a cabinet meeting and I see all these empty seats. I said, Democrats, please approve our cabinet and get smart on health care, too, if you don't mind. But we're taking meetings every day with top leaders in business, in science, and industry. Yesterday I had 29 of the biggest business leaders in the world in my office. Caterpillar Tractor, Campbell's Soup. We had everybody. I like Campbell's Soup. We had everybody. And we came to a lot of very good conclusions, and a lot of those folks that are in that room are going to be building big, massive new plants and lots of jobs. And you know what? They're going to be building them in this country, not in some other country. We're meeting.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. Now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Okay, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, who's off today. He'll be back with us on Monday. I want to get right back to the CPAC speech here because we're coming up on the end of the show here, and I've still got about 10 minutes left to play here, and we got about 11 minutes left in the show time today, so I want to get all the speech in. So this is continuing with Donald Trump's speech at CPAC today. Here it is.
Meeting with unions, meeting with law enforcement, and we're meeting with leaders from all around the world. Where the White House doors used to be totally closed. They were closed, folks. You don't realize that. They were closed. They're now wide open. And they're open for people doing business for our country and putting people to work. And when they come into the White House, we're translating these meetings into action. One by one, we're checking off the promises we made to the people of the United States. One by one. A lot of promises. And we will not stop until the job is done. We will reduce your taxes. We will cut your regulations. We will support our police. We will defend our flag. We will rebuild our military. We will take care of our great, great veterans. We're taking care of our veterans. We will fix our broken and embarrassing trade deals that are no good. None of them. You wonder, where did the people come from that negotiated these deals? Where did they come from? Well, they came also from campaign contributions, I must be honest with you. They're not as stupid as you think. We will cut wasteful spending. We will promote our values. We will rebuild our inner cities. We will bring back our jobs and our dreams. So true. So true. And by the way, we will protect our Second Amendment. You know, Wayne and Chris are here from the NRA, and they didn't have that on the list. It's lucky I thought about it. But we will indeed. And they're great people. And by the way, they love our country. They love our country. The NRA has been a great supporter. They love our country. The forgotten men and women of America will be forgotten no longer. That is the heart of this new movement and the future of the Republican Party. People came to vote, and these people, the media, they said, where are they coming from? What's going on here? These are hardworking, great, great Americans. These are unbelievable people who have not been treated fairly. Hillary called them deplorable. They're not deplorable. Who would have thought that a word was going to play so badly? That's the problem in politics. One wrong word and it's over. She also said irredeemable, but we won't mention that. The GOP will be, from now on, the party also of the American worker. You know, we haven't been, as a group, given credit for this. But if you look at how much bigger our party has gotten during this cycle, during the early days when we had 17 people running the primaries, millions and millions of people were joining. Now, I won't say it was because of me, but it was, okay? And we have an amazing, strong, powerful party that truly does want to see America be great again, and it will see it, and it's going to see it a lot sooner than you think, believe me, a lot sooner than you think. We will not answer to donors or lobbyists or special interests, but we will serve the citizens of the United States of America, believe me. Global cooperation, dealing with other countries, getting along with other countries is good. It's very important. But there is no such thing as a global anthem, a global currency, or a global flag. This is the United States of America that I'm representing. I'm not representing the globe. I'm representing your country. There is one allegiance that unites us all, and that is to America. America. It's the allegiance to America. No matter our background or income or geography, we're all citizens of this blessed land. And no matter our color or the color of the blood we bleed, it's the same red blood of great, great patriots. Remember, great patriots.
All right, we're coming up at the end of the show here. We missed the last couple of minutes of Donald Trump's CPAC speech earlier today, and I wanted to shut the show off now because I've got a couple of things I want to do before we close. Let's see. We've got, we're coming up. I thought, we normally close with the Raise 'em Up from the War Room, the movie The War Room. I want to do something a little bit different this time around. We're going to close with Melania Trump giving us the Lord's Prayer as she did earlier in a press conference. I think that's much more appropriate given what we did today. God bless you. We'll see you guys on Monday, 3 o'clock on the left coast, 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. God bless you. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespasses against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.